Well, hello there, Carlos. I'm commenting that we're getting to that time of the year where the winter birds leave and the spring birds start to come back. And so there's a involved goose conversation right there for you. It's a nice sound to hear. And I thought I would record a little something for you. We're being stalked by a puppy. And the owner's out, so that's all it's going to be. It's just going to be a stalking. A puppy stalking. How's the weather in España? I am enjoying my extended vacation, which will take me all the way to the final weekend of this month. But it's really all I got. Just wanted to say hello. Hope you're enjoying your vacation, or to use the UK parlance, enjoying your holiday. And hopefully your return trip's going to be similar to your trip out. You have a couple of days in Richmond in the UK, where you can get back to the land of 4G and download all those shows of mine. You haven't been able to do so in España. And if nothing else, that'll pretty much take care of your plane ride back to BC, won't it? I've recorded so much. So, alrighty. Well, take care until we next speak. Continue to be awesome. Later, buddy.
Well, thank you, Jim, for your submission. I appreciate it. Today is Saturday. I know. I'm not supposed to be recording on Saturday, but as I anticipated, my brothers and their families have impacted on my plans. I'm now climbing a stairway to the glory zone. I'm going to be running on my beloved Senda for the last time this holiday. Saturday today. Pablo is the last of the brothers still in Spain. My older brother Louis and his wife left this morning from Valencia to Gatwick, London Gatwick, by EasyJet. Pablo leaves on Monday by EasyJet. No, he leaves Sunday night, that's right. He's staying one more night with me here, and then we're going in together to Valencia so I can upload this show. There is a very, very good source of high-speed connectivity in one of my favorite hangouts in town, which is where I will go. I can also attempt to download some of Jim's back catalogue, but I think by now I'm probably 5 hours behind being caught up with him. He has had an extended vacation, a staycation. Just topping out here on this stairway, having dropped off the bedding on one of the hillside apartments that my niece and her husband Alan have bought. They wanted clean bedding for the next tenants, and between Pablo and I, we got the bedding done and dry, and we just replaced all the bedding and turned off the electricity and water, because the next tenants aren't going to be there till next month. Alright, so very soon I will be running again. I started my run tracker when I got out the door, because I figured that today's the kind of day where running and walking will be featured quite heavily. So walking with the laundry would be my first 2 kilometers of this outing. On Sunday, Pablo and I are going in to see my mother again. She will probably remember having been visited by many people, even though she might not remember exactly whom those people belong to. She'll realize they're all family. We had a wonderful paella on Thursday with the whole clan, including my Norwegian relatives. There were, in fact, 13 of us around one big table. But because we were so spread out, they brought out 3 huge paellas. Let me just check on the time. It's about 10 o'clock now. I think I started recording this segment about 5 minutes ago. So I can think of taking 5 minutes and adding it to whatever time I have on my clock. Some cyclists behind me, and I can see a guy in orange just coming off the sender now. I will meet him in about a minute as we're running towards each other. One of the paellas that we had was chicken. The other one was mixed, which is chicken and rabbit. And the third one was a mariscada, which is with crayfish and mussels and clams. They were both cooked, all 3 of them were cooked to perfection on an open wood fire. These are shallow pans, so it's easy for them to control the evaporation of the moisture, the broth that they cook the rice in. Once again, the crack of pistol shot. Can can be heard in the distance. Pablo, my younger brother, has fitted in to the slot vacated in my daily activities that Alan so admirably filled for the first 2 weeks of my stay here. I've got a little bit more running to do, and then I will be hitting the climb of the first hill. I'm planning to run to the meteorological ball and back, so it will be an easier to predict out and back run. I started a run like this on Thursday morning, hoping to take the road back from the meteorological station. But unfortunately, because of the stalled development on the hillside here, a lot of the roads are dead ends. They lead to nowhere. 3 kilometers done. That's including the 2 kilometer preamble with the laundry. Pablo is planning a trip into Cullera, where the larger supermarkets are. He's been tasked to buy almonds, wholesale quantities of almonds by his wife. She wants to make almond milk. And I believe what he does is he grinds the nuts, then soaks them, and then mashes them a little more, and then squeezes the liquid out through cheesecloth. I was suggesting that he could use the ground almond pulp that would be remaining after he's extracted the almond milk for muffins. He could use that in muffin mix, or in granola bars. You could make some very good almond based granola bars. Almond and oatmeal and honey would be nice. Anyway, that's something that I haven't really put too much thought into, about making my own sports food, having pretty much given up on long distance racing. I now normally spend half the day out, and then I eat when I get back. This is something that I developed for the 50k distance. You really don't need to lug any trail food for 7 hours. Most people can go 7 hours without eating once you've learnt how to run on a full breakfast. That is the secret. My porridge in the morning will fuel me through this run. I will be back at Apartamentos Orion around beer time, around 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's 3 hours. Probably be then closer to noon, actually. And then I will wait for my brother to return from his shopping trip. I've tasked him to buy us some more wine and some more vegetables because when Alan and Anna and their family left for England, they also donated the contents of their fridge. So we're eating our way through their food. And I think that is one of the reasons Pablo is coming back today to stay with me, even though he originally planned to spend 2 nights in Valencia. He figured that he can do everything he needs to do on Sunday if he gets his almonds in Cullera today. So that's going to be good. He can help me work our way through the mountain of food that we were given. Alan and Anna came with 3 of their 5 children. No, 4, that's right. Leah, the oldest daughter, stayed in England. She would be 18, I guess, now. Blake is 17. And then there's Nina, who is about 11 or 12. And then Lloyd, who's about 8. So they have quite a large spread of ages in their family. Alright, I can see the ball glowing in the distance. It looks like a large white golf ball on a tee on the 4th hill from here. I'm going to be running again in a second. It's not nearly as windy today, so we will be blessed with less of the wind noise and less need to apologize for the noise. I remember hearing one of Jim's podcasts before I was separated from high-speed connectivity. He was talking about quite often he would hear people in his neighborhood firing their guns. He does live in rural Pennsylvania. Yep. I brought my mobile router with me, so if I need to make contact with anybody, I have that option of emailing or texting. I don't really want to text anybody from here because I believe it's 75 cents per text, which is quite a lot of money if you start texting a lot. So I make a habit of being very prompt with my email responses so that people can use it as a way of contacting me quickly and easily. And that's the thing about me. I like being prompt with my responses. It's very annoying when people check their email once every 2 or 3 days and you're waiting for an answer and they're thinking of it more like the letter kind of thing, you know. You receive it a day and a half after it's mailed and then you reply a day and a half after that. So a 3-day turnaround of messaging, which is completely ludicrous in my mind, because the whole point of electronic communication is the speed. I'm very, very, very much telephobic. I hate the idea of talking on the phone. The only talking I really enjoy is in vivo and vicariously through my voice recorder to you guys. That is how I like to talk. As I climb up hill number 2, this is very, very enjoyable for me. At the moment I am just crossing into the glory zone as my body heats up and my joints become lubricated. I was trying to explain to my brother the joys of running. He doesn't run, but he is quite fit. He does a lot of hiking with his dog. He lives in the countryside as well, in Sussex. He goes out every day with his dog, and they walk for 5 or 6 kilometers. I see a couple hiking towards me on the downside of this slope. Yeah, on Thursday I should have done an out and back on this trail rather than spending a lot of extra time running on dead-end cul-de-sacs on my switchback route. Yep, 4 people and a dog. Hola.
Hola, buenos días.
Buenos días. Hola, hola. Yeah, and the last guy hiking down by himself. Hola. Yeah, they're very friendly people. I know I've said that before. Today would be not a bad day to get into difficulties here because, as you can hear, I have already met 5 or 6 people on the sender. If any of us needed help, it would be quite easy to arrange. As I hop from rock to rock, I caught up with an old friend this morning. I was listening to Stitcher Radio, and I had downloaded a bunch of shows, and in my catch of shows was one from, what's his name now? He calls himself Dirt Dog. Mike. That's right. He's the guy who is a teacher, a principal, a runner, and a dad. I believe he is beginning to put out shows a little more regularly, and he's using a combination format, partly on his run and partly from home. I enjoy listening to him. As an educator, he has a good grasp of language, and he has to talk a lot for his job. He was talking about the United States Olympic marathon trials. As I descend up to another slightly more runnable section, yep, I can see the trail stretching ahead of me. Down, down, down. This is where I don't want to trip, because I'm now traveling quite quickly. I might be leaving a fair amount of clothing here this year, just so that I don't have to pack it and bring it next year. Makes sense to me. Some of my colder weather clothing, I should have brought more short sleeve running gear. This year has been definitely a hot one. Whereas last year it rained a couple of times and was once again quite windy. But I don't know if you know this, but the Valencia coastline is called the Levante, which means the east side of the continent. Levante means the sun rises from the east.
4 kilometers.
4 kilometers, thank you, lady. The ball is about 5 kilometers. So it's going to be a 10-kilometer round trip. Levante is the sunrise coast, and Poniente is the sunset coast. So Portugal would be on the Poniente, and Valencia and Barcelona is on the Levante. It's kind of interesting because yesterday night I took a picture to the west of the sun setting, and this morning I took a picture from my apartment and looking at the rising sun due east of me. Gave me my bearings instantly. I acknowledged my location. Now, if I add 5 minutes to the time on my clock, that is approximately how much time I have been recording. Let me just check. So it's 10:21, so 26 minutes of recording. That's about right. I think I might well be quite close to the ball, around 35 minutes. So maybe 40 minutes of running and probably 30 minutes of recording. Plus Jim's contribution, which was, I believe, 3 or 4 minutes long. I can't remember exactly. I edited it a little bit out of his contribution. I think one has to expect the recipient of material like that, if he wishes to edit for brevity, should be given that option. I sent him a short submission, which I hope he will use. Mind you, I think my submission was probably a little too short for his liking. Mike Croy, that's the guy's name. His shows are normally about 30 minutes long. And I'm hopeful that he puts one out every fortnight, which is, for those who don't know, the English expression fortnight is an abbreviation of 14 nights, which is 2 weeks. A fortnight is 2 weeks. I'm quite well bundled up today, but that was mainly to do with earlier than normal start time, plus having to walk with 2 bundles of laundry. I didn't want to be shivering as I climb one of these bare knuckle sections of this trail when I have to make a 3-point touchdown, 2 feet in one hand. My other hand is busy holding Sonita, my Sony voice recorder, the younger sister of my other Sony, the old girl that died on me. She's not totally dead, but she has lost a lot of her functionality. I pretty much brought a duplication of all my equipment this year. I brought a spare voice recorder. I brought a camera. I brought cables, spare cables, USB cables. I also brought various chargers, but I could have got by with 1 Sony, 1 iPhone, 1 cable for charging my phone, and 1 cable for transferring data to my laptop. But I in fact have duplicated most of those functionalities. But you can never be too sure. Something might get dropped or broken or lost. There wouldn't be too much point leaving my spare voice recorder here. It doesn't really take up very much room if you think about it. I could easily slip it in a pocket. I'm not saying that I won't leave it behind, but I don't really have to. It might be more useful for me to have a spare in Victoria when I get back. My itinerary from here is go back, eat some more with Pablo, and then on Sunday we go in together to Valencia, me to run in the Turia River Park, and then to upload my show, this one, and then go and see my mother, him and I together. Then he leaves Sunday night for London. I come back to Cullera, and then I leave on Wednesday night for London. And then on Thursday morning, I fly to Knock Airport in Southern Ireland. I think most of you know that there are 2 islands, one to the north, which is part of Great Britain, and one to the south, which, even though it's on the same landmass, it is part of Europe more than the north. The north is part of the British Isles, and it deals with sterling, whereas the south is part of the EU, and they deal in the euro, which is nice because I will be going back with euros from here. I haven't managed to spend all my euros. €1 is worth approximately 1.5 Canadian dollars, or about $1.15 US. I think that's the current rate of exchange. It does fluctuate a fair bit. I'm getting that glorious smell of warm pines as the sun begins to heat up the mountainside. I'm sweating a fair bit now, having managed to shrug my head cold finally by a combination of drinking more water and eating more fruit. The body is quite a delicate chemistry experiment, and you definitely need liquid for all the enzymes and bodily fluids to function correctly. You can't be dehydrated. Pablo was complaining this morning of feeling a little dizzy. Could have been something to do with the brandy that we had, but they're now selling a 30% brandy, whereas before brandy and hard liquor was always 40%. This one is 30%, which is still fairly strong, but a lot more mellow. You get a lot more of the tannins from the barrels that they still use to mature the brandy. It's not cognac, because cognac is a name specifically for brandy made in the Cognac region of France. The same with champagne. Champagne is sparkling wine made in the Champagne method of production from the Champagne region of France. This is where I have to try and keep my altitude without losing my footing, as there is a fair amount of altitude change around here that I really don't need to do. It would mean going down quite a long way and then having to come back up again to this level. So I'm kind of cross-country trekking here, but it is a matter of stepping on sharp boulders, working my way across the ridge line here, trying to stay vertical as I gently make a 4-point touchdown. My feet went either side of a rock, and my hands went down either side of another rock. Fortunately, without any damage to my delicate skin. This is the worst part, but as I say, it is basically just a way of avoiding going down to come up again. As I step through, I can see the trail ahead that I'm heading for, which is once again easy access after this initial bit of white knuckle scampering. I've done this 4 or 5 times now, and every time I do it just slightly differently, because there is no marked trail here. This is just pick your own poison kind of trail. Now I'm back on the easy stuff. I see another runner coming towards me in red. He's on the down, I'm on the up. We're going to cross in about 30 seconds.
5 kilometers.
All right. Just as we hear my run tracking lady tell me of the 5 kilometers. So the little bit of laundry walking this morning gave me about an extra kilometer, because normally I don't get to the 5 until I'm actually at the ball. So today's outing is going to be between 11 and 12k, which is about 7 miles. Yeah, 10k is 6.2 miles. As I see the ball in the distance. It's pretty close now, actually. I'm going to take a picture of it. Let me just put the recorder in the bushes here. Alright, that's done. Now I just have to check that the app is still running. Yep, it is. Yep. And as I pick up my voice recorder and continue to the ball. Real time is 10:35 plus 3, 10:38 plus 5, 10:43. So about 43 minutes of recording so far. So I will take this to the ball, remove the wind filter, and double check the recording length. I can already hear the radar turning. There's a radar, a couple of microwave antenna, and the ball itself, which is a very sensitive sonar that they use for the Doppler radar, the one that shows you the weather patterns, the clouds, and the possible precipitation. Well, it's been fun once again recording for you. I always enjoy having the discipline of keeping a dialogue going. It becomes easier and easier with practice. As I approach the shelter of the graffiti strewn outcrop. I've always wondered about this graffiti. Who did it, when it was done, and what it signifies. But it's pretty much universal. Taggers have their own style. I don't find it terribly offensive. This is quite a remote spot, to tell you the truth. Alright, so as I take shelter behind the building with the tags, and as I uncover the recorder, I will tell you that this is indeed the Running Jackal signing off with 41 minutes recorded. There's a couple of cyclists that have made their way up the road. Alright, so this will be my weekend show. Bye bye.